Sir, good afternoon. Welcome, sir. Pushparaj,
Uh,
sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
So can we start the event?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon, one and all. The bootcamp is an educational model that cuts to the chase in many ways. These intense courses combine theory and practice in a condensed format that encourages learning environment where knowledge is shared by all. Let's start the program with a Tamil Thai Valthu.
நீராறும் கடலுடுத்த நிலமடந்தை கெழிலொழுகும் சீராறும் மதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிதில் கணமும் அதில் சிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு திரை நுதலும் தரித்தன திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம்பியந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே.
With the blessings of our Honorable late Colonel Dr. JPR, founder of JPR Educational Trust, under the guidance of our Chairman and Managing Director, Madam Dr. M. Regina JPR, with the innovative ideas of our respected Principal Sir Dr. V. Natarajan, our Dean of Academics, Ma'am Dr. Salisha A. Stanley, all HODs of JPR Engineering College, all department faculties, IIC team members, and our dear students. We are here for the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp on Lean Startup and Minimum Viable Products or Business in association with Institutions Innovation Council. Now, I invite IIC President of JPR Engineering College, Dr. N. Padmavati Ma'am, to deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of JPR Engineering College, we cordially welcome Dr. Pushparaj, Director Digital Payments, to deliver a lecture today for our students and enlighten our students on the topic, on the given topic. So we are very much happy and delighted to welcome you, sir, on behalf of all the IAC members, on behalf of our college and the entire team. We are very much happy that you have accepted our invite in spite of your busy schedule, sir. So
Thank
very
you,
much
ma'am.
thankful, and we are happy to invite you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Before our guest speaker's address, I would like to invite our esteemed Principal Sir, Dr. V. Natarajan, for a special address.
Thank you, Reshma. So very happy afternoon for everyone connected here. With the blessings of Honorable late Colonel Dr. JPR Sir, founder JPR Educational Trust, and under the dynamic guidance of Dr. M. Regina JPR, Chairman and Managing Director, JPR Group of Institutions. And on behalf of JPR Engineering College, I cordially welcome Thiru Pushparaj Sir, Director Digital Payments using Cloud Computer, Bangalore. First of all, I extend my sincere gratitude to you, sir, for accepting and sharing the valuable information to our very fresh engineers. Once again, I welcome you, sir. And I welcome the Dean Academics, Dr. A. Salisha Stanley, ma'am, and the head of various departments, professors, and the faculty members, and President and Vice President Convener of JEC Innovation Cell, and executive members of JPR Innovation Cell, and the last, but obviously not the least, the beneficiaries, ultimate beneficiaries, my dear students. I welcome you all for today's workshop. But of course, this is not a regular kind of workshop or webinar. Actually, we have decided to create a platform to provide you to starting about your the level of thinking. Of course, as a human being, everyone having a capability to think. There is no doubt. But as a professional graduates, professional engineers like you, so this is the platform support you, stimulate you to think logically, think conceptually. So converting your things into an idea, then that idea should be validated in the form of converting that idea into the useful products. So of course, your idea should serve to the society. Of course, it is not the pointing of the service oriented. Of course, it is a commercial based. At last, we all are supposed to survive in the society. So this is the platform providing you definitely will stimulate your level of thinking, converting all your thinking into idea, finally converting your ideas into the product, and makes you as an entrepreneur. So, utilize this platform. I hope everyone should get benefited. Without much wasting of the time, I handing over the session to Guru Pushparaj to take over the session and guide our students. Thank you all.
So thank you very much for the wonderful opportunity. It is very great to see the collaboration between the industry and the organization's educational institute. That is a much need of the hour, and I'm very happy to contribute to this platform. Thank you very much. So let me start. Let me share my screen for you. Only one request is that can you please go on mute? If you have any question, please stop me whenever you can. Hope you are able to see my screen. So today we are going to see about entrepreneurship using startup, lean startup, and how do you use MVP in your startup culture, right? I am working as a director, one of the director in Wibmo Inc. Just a brief about Wibmo Inc. Wibmo Inc. is a paytech company. We have 5 products in fraud and risk management, mobile payment, prepaid cards, merchant processing. We process almost 2.5 billion transactions annually, and we have 23 plus million mobile payment users, 5 million virtual cards and 3 million plastic cards issued, and we onboarded 10,000 plus merchants. So it is a fintech and paytech company. So I have very good experience working in the fintech. So I would like to share your experience with you all. Without further ado, I would like to get into the details. The topics I am going to cover is the definitions of entrepreneurship, and I want to take in terms of case studies, stories of the successful entrepreneurs who started very small and then achieved a long. I take a case study on Arun Ice Cream. One is which is non-software related fintech or the startup. And another one is Infosys, which is a big organization now, but how they started as a fintech. I want to give a story around that. And from that story, we will arrive at the characteristics. If you see the case study, you will be able to understand what are the characteristics entrepreneurship will be looking for. So we'll arrive at that. Then we'll get into what is a traditional startup, what is the lean startup we are going to have, and my favorite, what is fintech, and a very big case study on a fintech which can give you good insight into how the fintech world works. And then we'll wind up the session with what is next. From here, what is the takeaway for you, and what are the things you'll be able to do. So first is what is entrepreneurship, right? See, entrepreneurship is anything. It's like starting your own business. That's what everybody will say, right? It's about having innovative new ideas. Having ideas alone won't help you. So you're supposed to act on it. You should take it to the next level. So putting them in action is very important. When you start a new business or new startup, you will be facing day to day a lot of hurdles and challenges, and you should have the perseverance to pass through the challenges. These are the very key for an entrepreneurship. So now let's take a case study for Arun Ice Cream. Maybe this, if it is not very clear, I can open up the slide for you. 1 second. Is it visible to you all, or can I open the image directly?
Sir, visible, sir.
Okay. Anyway, I'm opening here. So if the Arun Ice Cream owner, he was from Virudhunagar, from South Tamil Nadu. He was not able to continue his studies due to the financial situation of his family. So they sold their property. He came to Chennai with 13,000 rupees in hand in 1970, and he created a small cottage industry. He rented 250 square feet of land of a property in Rayapuram, and he employed 3 people. And in Chennai, you no need to say, the summer is very hot. So one of the idea he took at that time is that making ice creams, right? In 1970s, even in 1990s, the way how the ice cream industry work is that you will be having a push cart. The vendors will be coming with your bell, and then they will selling this every doorstep and every street, right? So they made the ice cream, and he himself took it across Chennai, all the streets by the push cart, by walking and taking to everywhere. There's a lot of hardship you put, and the competition also very immense, right? There are more than 40,000 small ice cream vendors are available, and he need to compete against them. That is one of the biggest challenge he has. With all his hard work and commitment, he was able to make a turnover of 1,50,000 rupees in 1970. In 1 year, he was able to make a turnaround. That is the biggest success. It helps him to dream big on that. And once he started, there is no turning back. He taken the business to next level. In 1990, his turnover was 3 crores. So there are a lot of challenges he got in between, but all the challenges has been overcome, and the Arun Ice Cream becomes the biggest player in the state. And he never satisfied with one product, right? When you're trying to grow, the important characteristics you will be having is that you need to diversify the product. So he come up with the idea called Hudson Agro product in 1986, where your Orokia milk, everything comes. There are many first in the market he implemented in this Hudson Agro. I'll explain you that. So if you net if you see, he started with 13,000 rupees. It's grown to 4,000 crore turnover today. And he started with 3 people employees, and it's grown to 8,000 people. He started the business with 250 square feet, but it grown to 3 million square feet. So that is one of the beautiful story or cases for a startup. Yeah. And second such instance I want to showcase to you is technology base. Let's take one example on technology base also. It is nothing other than our stock market darling, Infosys, right? Infosys has a unique journey. It is slightly differs from Arun Ice Cream because the founders are engineers. There are 7 engineers. They joined together and they started the business in 1981. The amount they invested to start the business is 10,000 rupees. That too, they borrowed it from Narayana Murthy's wife. All these people were surviving on their wife's salary during this time. There are a lot of hard work they put. Even they don't have permanent workspace. Narayana Murthy's home was acting as the development center, and Raghavan's home was acting as the business registered office. So that's the way how they work. With the 10,000 rupees investment, and they started. First, they have collaboration with KSA. In KSA, they got the customers, and the collaboration went well. In 1987, they opened first international office. So the business flourished. To do business in US, you should have a personal presence in international space. So they first opened in Boston, US, and then in 1994 they opened corporate headquarters in Bangalore Electronic City. It is a very beautiful campus, span across, very greenish in Bangalore. In 1995, the expansion is keep on growing; it never stops. That's the way how Arun Ice Cream diversified into multiple products. In a software world, you need to have multiple products and multiple target areas, regions you need to go and conquer. So similar to that, for the global expansion started in first European office in UK, and they started their global development office in Toronto in 1995. And the first thing they had done in 1999 is that Infosys is the first Indian company listed in Nasdaq. They listed the company in US stock market, and they started Infosys Business Consulting Service in 1999. If you see the journey, they keep on expanding in the region, as well as they keep on opening new units, new products in their ongoing journey. And in 2002, the international recognition, the Infosys has been awarded as India's most respected company. So, and they started Infosys BPO also. In 2004, they first achieved the milestone 1 billion USD in revenue. So this is the way how a small startup which started with 10,000 rupees has reached 1 billion in around 23 years. So that's the scope. If you properly able to run your startup, you will be able to grow to that level. So coming to Arun Ice Cream, the Hatson Agro product, what they launched, they did many unique things, right? And few of the things I want to showcase to you is that direct touch with the farmers. There is no middleman. They don't want middleman. The company itself directly contacted the farmers in the villages. They procured milk directly, and there are 4 lakh farmers association they formed, and they launched Ibaco brand. Even Arun Ice Cream is the one who established their ice cream parlors across the state. So these are the very niche things they try to implement as part of it. And in Infosys case, as I explained you, Infosys KSA partnership in 1987 was contributing more than 80% of the revenue for Infosys. Suddenly, the partnership broken, and Infosys only 80% of the revenue stopped coming to Infosys. Many people advised Narayana Murthy and the founders to close the business and come out and sell the organization, but they took a decision. They want to keep going, and they will invest, and then they'll make it happen. So that's the reason in 2002 they are able to achieve 1 billion revenue. So there will be a lot of challenges in your journey, but your commitment and your motivation and your vision and your conviction to your idea, that's very key for you to keep growing. So these are the two case studies. If you see, there are so many commonalities you can see between them, right? One is they started with a very small organization. They started with one small unique idea. They are committed to the idea. They put a lot of hard work, and they diversified the idea. There are a lot of competition, threats coming in between. They took risk about that. They're able to do. So these are the various characteristics which defines entrepreneurship, right? These are the characteristics which are required for startup founders. So next is we will see the various characteristics which are required for an entrepreneur. So if you see here, hope you're able to see my screen. There are a lot of characteristics which are possible, which are required for running a great business. But I listed down the key characteristics. These are the 8 key characteristics which are required for founder or for entrepreneurship to successfully run a startup. First thing is creativity. You should be highly creative. You should always look for opportunities in the market which are available, and what new things you will be able to introduce, or whatever the existing process the team is having, how do you do differently, how do you make you as a differentiator. All this ideas is comes from creativity. So you should be highly creative, and you should seek for opportunities. Whenever the opportunity comes, you look for opportunities and grab them, and innovative ways of doing things, and you need to try to find a solution for a common problem the public is facing, the customer is facing. So creativity for the creating new ideas is the very basic characteristics for an entrepreneur. And you can improve your creativity maybe by involving yourself regularly in the activities which makes you creative, like listening to music or reading, or small sports activities. You do involve yourself so that your creativity will go up. And the second important thing is that passion. So you should have a passion of doing a business, right? So unless otherwise you have interest on what you're doing, and it's not going to, you will not be able to sustain the effort you're putting. So passion is very important, which drives the entrepreneurship. You should love what you're doing, and the passion creates a meaning for your work. And finding solution that help people should be the passion for you. You should help focus on the objective. So passions help you to keep focusing on your objective. So you should be very passionate about your idea and the business you're starting. It's your baby. And motivation. So passion and motivation goes hand in hand. And the motivation, it's a will to accomplish what you're looking for. Whatever the hurdles you are getting into can be overcome if you have only the motivation correct. So you should start with a small set of goals, and you need to recognize any achievement you're doing in between, celebrate the achievements, and keep a positive mindset. This is very much required for you to keep going in a very tough situation. And the next very important point for entrepreneurship is the ability to work. This is the one which I learned very late in my career. So usually what will happen is that you may be bookish, right? Most of our parents will say that study, study, study. But the world is so connected. Being an individual contributor alone will not help you to conquer the vision what you have. So you should be able to create network within your peer groups, maybe your friends in multiple branches, or your with your mentors, and even the specialist in the market, right? So you should be able to get a good network, and that network really helps when you are in need of a technical advice, or when you are in need of an opportunity. These are the network you are going to help you. So please cultivate the habit of creating network. When I am saying creating network, it is not a one-way channel. So if you want to really create a network, you should also contribute. You should help others. So automatically the network will be keep growing. So humble request to all young entrepreneurs is that don't be bookish. Mark is important for us. In addition to that, cultivate the habit of creating network that will really take you to the next level. So, and the very important next point is self-confidence. So your confidence will convince your investors to invest on your product, right? So first you should be believing that my goal is achievable. I am going to achieve the goal. Even a slight percentage of lack of self-confidence can be easily visible to others, and you will not be able to achieve what you're looking for. So self-confidence very important. It will make you feel better, and it helps you to overcome challenges, and it will help you to take risk. So you should be highly confident. At the end of the day, there is nothing to lose. So you are trying a new path, and you have lot of energy, you have a lot of passion, you have so many years to complete, right? So this is the right time be confident, and take the right steps to move forward. And a vision. So when you start a specific idea or a startup, you should have a long-term vision. What is the end goal you're going to expect out of this? What do you want to achieve? And that vision will defines the culture of your organization. It keep you energized, motivated, and focused. So you should define your vision, which will help you to make it happen. So in addition to the self confidence, one of the thing which is required is risk taking. You should be you should not afraid of risk. What is risk? Risk is nothing but unknown, right? But if you're able to conquer an unknown, there is a world of opportunity waiting for you. But if you're afraid of the risk and if you're not taking the risk, you're missing the opportunity. So risk taking should be there in your blood. Don't afraid of anything. Take a calculated risk, managed risk, and move forward. It is irrespective of your entrepreneurship or in your life also. Risk taking in young age is much required so that you will be able to achieve higher levels. Then adaptability. What will happen is that you may be starting with a small idea, but when you start implementing it, the need will change. You may be getting various feedbacks, right? So you should be adaptable to the changes. You should be able to go back to your drawing board and try to change your idea, come back fresh, and then start running. You should be highly adaptive. So these are the 8 characteristics which are very much important for entrepreneurship. So to take it forward. Then we look at what are the steps involved in an entrepreneurship. So any entrepreneurship will start with ideas. Ideas is the key. That is the reason if you see in our the required characteristics, your what is it? Imagination, right? The creativity is very key. So you should look for things that doesn't exist, but you feel it should exist. It is like maybe you are taking a long walk to your place. So you think, I wish I should be having a holocraft, right? You should can fly and go there. So that kind of imaginative things where if something exists at that time, which will help the customer to feel comfortable. So those kind of things you should find it out. And you should find out the needs of people around you. You should always look for opportunities to implement, right? So you should always be conscious about what is the need, the target people you are looking at, what they're looking for. You should be ready. If it's not a new idea, you can also think about improving existing products. This is where the fintechs are coming into picture, right? There are established organizations, there are banks are running for years, and it serves the purpose. So why do the customers has to come to fintech, right? They provide a unique experience. They improve the process which the banks are using. So you can think of improving existing products and services and better access to info or products, right? Fourth category is that access to info. If you I am not sure how many people here started without Google. In our ages there was no Google, right? Usually we'll look for a website like ask.com, where the information we need to look for are not widely available. Even we don't have access to internet itself in our earlier careers, right? I don't think you'll be able to imagine that case now. Everything is in internet. So your idea could be Google took the idea and brings the information to your hand. That is a brilliant idea. So your idea can be to give access to the info or products. So that could be an idea. Find the ideas and then take it to the next level, build it. So don't leave just dreaming of ideas, right? If you just dream of ideas, that alone is not going to work out. Maybe for the ideas, I would say that in my childhood days, I was chatting. We were chatting. Me and my brother were chatting with my mother. I said that, Mom, you wait for a few years. There is going to be a machine going to come to make idlis. You no need to suffer in kitchen. Then instantaneously my mother told me, replied saying that you wait for few more years, my son, you will get a machine which can make idlis and feed you also. So that's the kind of crazy ideas which you may be bringing up into the market, right? And even in 1997, I was doing my mechanical engineering. In hostel, we were chit-chatting with our friends, and we at that time, all the buses very famous is pushback. So where you can push back your seats and go comfortably. But in trains, you have sleeper coaches, right? So we were thinking, why don't we have a sleeper coach in buses? At that time, it was not there in the market. But we were discussing and we even sketched it, but we stopped there. We don't know how to take that idea to production, or we really don't know support. The ecosystem is not supporting us, right? So an idea without implementation is a dream. So here, when you have an idea, you should start thinking about how do you implement it, what are the next steps you are going to do. That is your why, the planning part of it. Once the planning is available, you can start doing this activity, and you do get the feedback, correct it, do again. You should be iteratively doing this development till the goal is reached. These are the various stages involved in a startup. So expectation versus reality. Usually when you are going to start a business or you are going to start a startup, we may think I am going to start a business, I am going to get a lot of customers, I may reach my revenue of 1 billion in 5 years. Maybe all looks rosy for you. But when you really start the operation, when you really start executing it, there comes the difficult part, right? You will be having in getting financed for you, or you will be having very difficult to get the team members for you. Sometimes you would have developed the product, but it may not work in the production. You may be facing issues. You may not get the right infrastructure for you, or you may have a infrastructure, but your regulatories, government regulations may not allow you to operate. You need to get approval. All this practicality will always throw spanner in your wheel. You will not be able to move forward. But again, the characteristics we defined earlier, right? Your motivation, your vision, your desire to take it to completion, risk-taking capability. That is what will help you to pass through these challenges. So if you cultivate those characteristics, it will be easily able to complete this information. So that's about characteristics and general topics about entrepreneurship. Now we will go into lean startup. Yeah. So there are lean startup is very recently introduced. It's a young topic. Sorry for that. So first I would like to explain you what is the traditional way. Unless otherwise you understand the traditional way of startup, you will not be able to appreciate the lean startup concepts. So let's see the traditional way of startup. In a traditional way, the startup is considered as a miniature of a big business. So big business, what you will be having 5 years plan, 10 years plan. What is the product design you are going to do? What are the teams I am going to engage? Which region I will launch? You will have a very detailed plan. The planning itself, they sit in a boardroom, they'll do for years, right? But in a traditional way, the same thing carry forward. The founder first will prepare a business plan. It's a static document which talks about size of your opportunity, problems to be solved, solution to be provided, what is your 5-year forecast of income, profit, cash flows. These are the information he need to find out for his idea. Literally, it is very, very difficult for a new idea to get all this information. Most of the time, it will be fictitious in nature, and it will be a wrong information. So that is the reason if you see traditionally 75% of the startups fail in the market. So that is one of the key information. So they start with a static business plan, which is being created 1 year old, and using the business plan, they will try to pitch to investors. They will try to get funding from the investors. Here, because you are starting with a plan, you don't have the real feedback, right? And the investors will agree, they will give you the money, then you will assemble the team. So you will say that I want to create a, banking app. So you will hire, minimum you need 10 to 15 member team to develop the entire application, right? So all your money will be keep on spending on the team who is assembling that, and you will introduce the product. So and you start selling. After your 1 year hard work, where you will be working in a very stealth mode, where you want to protect your idea, you don't want to share it with others, and you'll share after 1 year to the market customer, then boom, you will realize that the futures what you're providing is not what customer is looking for. Whatever the effort you have put, everything will fail. So that's the reason traditional model, where the failure rate is 75%. I hope you know Mike Tyson. He is one of the famous boxer. He said that everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. It is like that. So everybody has a plan. Until otherwise you take to the customer, you will not know whether it is a success or failure. So this is the way how the traditional startup was working. So now let's try to compare that with lean startup. So in lean startup, one of the key concept you need to understand is MVP, minimum viable product. Let's understand what is a minimum viable product. Minimum viable product is you will not, let's take an example. This is one of the project currently I am working on. So we call it as super app. For this discussion sake, we consider it as a super app. It's a financial technology application. It has 4 verticals. One is wallet, where you will be able to pay to using mobile. You will be able to pay to your merchant. You will be able to pay to your friends. You will be able to pay to your relatives, or you will be able to split your bill, or you will be able to pay to merchants, maybe Amazon. All those information will be able to do in a wallet. It's similar to Paytm or Google Pay, right? It's in its advanced stage. Similar to that, the second important features you have is investments. So here you will be able to buy mutual fund, insurance, gold, bond, NPS, all those investments you will be able to do from the same app. And third one is you will be able to purchase loans. You will be able to quickly get personal loans approved, or if it is a business, you will be able to buy the loans and all quickly from the app. And fourth one is traditional banking as a service, where we'll integrate with the banking application. You will be able to log in into your account. You will be able to see the account details, balance, your transaction history, billers, all those information you will be able to do. This is a super app we envisage. If you're waiting for this, if I am going with the traditional model, what I will do, I will develop the entire 4 vertical before coming to the wallet, before coming to the market, right? First, I'll develop wallet, investments, loan origin, banking as a service. If I'm going to develop all the 4 verticals, minimum it will take 2 years for me to bring it to market. And all these 2 years, what should I do? I should invest on my infrastructure. I should invest on my employees. I should invest on marketing. I should do lot of activities, and 2 years will be only in spending mode. So that won't help, right? In this case, what we will do in a minimum viable project, we divided these 4 verticals as a different products altogether. So wallet will be my minimum viable product. Investments will be one minimum viable product. Loan origination will be my one viable product, and banking as a service is a viable product. I will take the product, a minimum viable product, which will be easily sellable to the customer. So we have taken wallet. Now we are developing wallet only as a minimum viable product in step 1. and we will develop and we'll take it to the market and we'll find customers. We'll started discussing with all the banks in India, and we started selling the wallet also. So because of this, what will happen? Even if two banks are taking my wallet, I have customer with me. I will get immediate feedback on the wallet use cases to go and correct it, right? There is a feedback I am addressing. And in addition to that, I am getting constant revenue. The revenue I'm getting from the wallet, the minimum viable product which I sold, I will be able to sell it to, I will be able to use it for my other development. I will be able to easily achieve my break-even point. So this is called as minimum viable product. So hope the concept is clear. Your lean startup is primarily revolves around your minimum viable product. So you should find your product, break down into multiple minimum viable products, and then develop them. So earlier we have seen the traditional way of working. Now we will see the lean startup mode of working. First is, instead of having a business plan, I will be having untested hypothesis. When I say untested hypothesis, this is nothing but ideas. Whatever the idea I have, and I will summarize this hypothesis in a framework and value for itself and customers. I will see what is the value the hypothesis is going to bring to the customer and itself. That is the point I look at. Second thing is, once I identify my hypothesis, I will rapidly develop my MVP. So I will first define the most viable product. I will start developing that quickly on that, and I launch into the market. I will go take to the customers. I'll show it to them. Instead of waiting for 2 years and working in a stealth mode, once my development is ready, when my prototype is ready, immediately I'm taking to my customer and getting my feedback. I am not hiding. I am open. I'm discussing. That is the biggest change in the lean startup. If the initial customer feedback is not good, it gives me opportunity to go back to my drawing board and do the corrections. So that is the best advantage of this lean startup. So I will rework my idea. I'll rework my product, adjust my MVP, and the entire development will be in a very agile mode. When I say agile, you will take it into small sprints of development. Each sprint you will test it to the customer, get the feedback, develop. So that's the way how the entire lean startup works. So no more stealth mode. You are working very openly, and you are going to work with all. I would like to give an example. Just a minute. There is a company called Blue River Technology Company. It is formed by students in Stanford, like how you guys are students. In foreign, the students itself form groups and then start working on their idea in the early stage itself. Please do that. So they have an idea to build a robotic lawn mower for commercial spaces. So in a traditional way, what they would have done, they would have developed the prototype or developed the product and then start selling, right? So in a lean mode, they took the idea, they discussed with 100 of their customers in 10 weeks. And because of this customer feedback, they found that they're supposed to use this idea in golf court, right, to clean the lawn. And they found that there is no much scope for it. Instead, they've identified that there's a demand for farmers to automate the way of killing weeds without chemicals. They got an idea from the discussion with the customer. So they tweaked their product idea and then they started working on it. So that is a classic example which will help you to define the how the lean startup is going to work. So if you compare the lean startup with the traditional one, it is experimentation over elaborate planning. You will always experiment in lean, but in a traditional one, you'll have elaborate planning. Customer feedback versus intuition. So you will build quick prototypes in lean and you consistently get the customer feedback. And in other cases, it's just the intuition. One person's idea is what important. And there is an iterative design. over big design upfront. MVP we discuss, and failing fast and continuous learning. These are the key for your lean startup. So this is the startup journey. So first 2 steps is you will dream what is not there in the world, what you're going to build in the world, and write down all your so what you will do is that you will write down all your ideas which are coming up, and identify top 1 or 2 ideas, try to create a prototype for it, and you're not building the product, you're just making a prototype and already discussing with your customers. Discuss with them, iterate them, you improve your prototype. Then you need to find co-founders, because if you are not able to invest along, you can get right co-founders. The co-founders concept is very good. Maybe you are good in techie, the person you need is marketing, so you can team a person in your circle who can act as a salesperson. You both can together work together and then take it to market. Register your company, and maybe look for funding. Currently angel funding is very famous. Like banks and all will look for collateral, but angel funding, they will look for your idea, execution plan, and they trust you, and then they invest on you, right? Kind of find for funding, and launch the product which you have done, and continuously monitor the feedback. This is very key. This continuous monitoring feedback is important. Maybe if it is a app based application, getting 1,000 customers initially will be difficult. Then onwards it will be keep growing. Keep on adding features to the product, and take it to success. In case if the features are not available, you want to work backwards, please be open, get the feedback and launch. One of the example is that Airbnb, right? It's a very famous website. They launched 3 times, they failed 3 times, and 4th time it clicked. So failure is going to be integral part of your journey. Don't give up, try again. So now we move on to the fintech. I think we have 15 more minutes. Let's wind up. Fintech is nothing but a startup company, mainly in the financial domain, right? They already there are traditional banks which are working on this area. Fintechs, what they will do is that they compete with the traditional service providers. They provide a superior experience and more efficient way of doing solutions. Example for fintech will be your Paytm, Google Pay, all those things, right? Or fintech, famous fintech companies. So these are the top Indian fintech companies we have. We can focus on this area, Razorpay, because this may be you may be using in day-to-day activities. Paytm, MobiKwik. FS is one of the biggest fintech player. Justpay. If you go for internet banking, you may see CC Avenue as a gateway for you. These are the various fintech companies we have. And these are the valuation of some fintech companies in the market. These fintech companies would have been started with very little, like 10,000 rupees, right? And they have grown to 16 billion. For example, 197 is the highest paid. Byju's, you may know, they are valued as 13 billion. Oyo also, you may know, they are 9 billion. And Cred is very good in terms of credit card. They are 2.2 billion. So these are the various fintech companies where they really tasted the success. So there's a lot of opportunity for you guys to look at the fintech and then move forward. And why fintech, right? The reason fintechs are becoming popular because the main investment is idea. So you don't need very costly infrastructure. You don't need very funky workspace or industry space. Just you need a computer and good idea. You will be able to create top-notch ideas. And if the founder is good in technology, you don't need employees. You yourself can create your product, sell the product. So your investment is very less. No initial funding is required. And you should have a very good marketing strategy. That is what is required here. 7 things to know from fintech. know your regulation, because fintech works on a financial market, right? There are a lot of regulations. RBI will have a lot of regulations, so you should be very careful on every week or every month you will get some circulars from RBI. You need to proactively implement that. Identify your niche. What is your strength you are going to do? You should identify that and do a competitive analysis. See what are the competitors doing, what you are doing, how do you overcome that. Start doing the analysis, and your success is based on the team. So you should hire the right team, and you should choose the right tech stack. One of the things, important thing currently, recently, which is helping fintechs is that cloud. So earlier you need to buy IBM, HP, 10 crore processor. That itself will take lakhs and lakhs for you to invest. Now clouds coming into picture, pay as you go, whatever the stack you need. You want a VM, you want a Docker or Kubernetes, you will be able to choose them, pay for the usage and go. So that saves a lot of money for you. So choosing the right tech stack is very important for you. Get funded and build and improve. That will keep going for you. And what are the 6 traps usually startup founders will fail? So while seeing the positive of any startup, we should see what usually goes wrong in a fintech also, right? That will help you to avoid any bottlenecks for you. So from that perspective, raising money before you ready, before even having the prototype ready, people will go for funding or loan and start paying EMI. Please don't do that. And second thing is that building out the company before the product. The product should be ready. So many people, what they will do is that while the product is not ready, they will start building a website, they will start doing a marketing campaign, and internet marketing campaign, all those things they'll start spending. So first your focus should be getting the product. And third one is that before even getting the idea, they'll start hiring the team. Then you need to pay for them, right? So please have concrete idea, design ready before hiring the team. And fourth one is that purchasing full infrastructure. Don't do that. Go for cloud. Use the pay-as-you-go model. Invest less on the infrastructure. Save money for you. And third one is, mostly innovators are like not good executors. They will think a lot, but they may not be able to implement exactly what they're looking for. So you need to be innovative as well as you should be good in your execution. And choosing large number of customers before landing one. So you need to focus on getting first customer instead of investing getting 100 customers. So that way you will be able to do a good infrastructure here. So I would like to showcase one case study. I'll take it at the end, and maybe let's see this first. Let's say what's next for you, right? Now we have seen what is entrepreneurship, what is a startup, what is a fintech, right? As a engineering graduates, you are young minds. You have lot of aspiration, dreams, right? How do you take that to the next level? For that, first, please learn the skill. Whichever the idea you're going to do, whichever the area you're choosing, it could be mechanical, it could be electricals, it could be computer science. You should be the master in the skill you're working on. And in our days, mostly what we will do to do technically is a paper presentation. There are a lot of universities will call for paper, will prepare paper, go publish and present, right? From the theoretical knowledge, now it's moved on to hackathon. Now everything famous is every university is running hackathon. Not only universities, companies are running hackathon. Please participate. Maybe you may not succeed in the first try itself, but the experience counts. It will give you real-time experience. You will learn a lot from hackathon. Try to involve yourself yearly 1 or 2 hackathons. That will help you to take forward. And ideathon, you join ideathons, create ideas, form a group within yourself, start creating ideas for your startup. And parallelly, you start a market study. understand the market, who are the and the competitive analysis, right? Who are the competitors you have in the market, what they are doing, where my idea is there, because when you really launch to the market, it may take years, right? It may change. So you should be very adaptive. The characteristics we are seeing, right? You should be adaptive to the change. Start building the framework, start building your prototype. That will help you to take forward. And you need real customer feedback. Take the prototypes, discuss with your mentors, your professors, your lecturers, your friends, even real market experienced people. Discuss with them, form the team. Maybe your like-minded people can be a team, but they should complement each other. One may be technical, one may be sales, one may be in financial. You form a team who can gather up and help doing it. Build the application and confidently launch the application. So these are the next few steps which you can think through, so that you will be able to achieve big in your dream. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am open for any questions.
Hello, sir. Myself, Shyam Prakash. Good afternoon, sir.
Hi, Sham.
Hello, sir. Sir, I have a question, sir. Actually, I am from an engineering background, and right now I am doing my first year MBA, sir. I have a small question, sir, actually. So, I have a thought of manufacturing the electrical and electronic components in India, sir, and where to start the particular process, sir, actually.
When you say electrical product, which product it is, Sham?
Based on the components, sir, basic components, there is like electrical and electronic components like CRO, some electrical materials like switches and etc. Sir, because most of the products are imported from China actually, and
Okay.
right now we can start the some manufacturing products in our India. No, sir, that's why I have a small idea, sir.
Yeah. Sham, it is very good. It's welcome thoughts, because the good thing you are doing is that you identified a market where there is no domestic players. That's what I'm hearing from you. Where currently, let's say switches, right? Currently, you're trying to import from China.
Yes,
So
yes, sir.
maybe my first suggestion is that instead of thinking about directly where to start, that is maybe the easiest one to do. First thing is that you should have the design ready in your hand, because a lot of competitors, there are a lot of that's what I'm saying, right? The beginning point is your idea. It should be very unique. Why people should go to you? Don't always fall back on your what is that rate advantage. That won't fly for long. So there should be a unique characteristics for your switches what you are making. Try to identify the idea, build the idea. There are in India there is really a lot of support in the manufacturing, and there are industry generation groups are available. Once your idea is available, if they are good, you can discuss the plan with them. And for example, TIC also can give you loan, you can apply for them, and you can start slowly doing maybe small scale. You can start and then take it to big. So first, I would suggest that you should have a very clear plan and design in hand, Sham.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hello.
I have a hello, sir.
Yes, I am able to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, sir. How to increase the solar panel usage in India?
How to you increase solar panel? That's a good question. Sorry, I may not be able to answer the question straightly, because it's a kind of a policy related. That's even our government tried a lot, right? They tried with your rooftop solar panel. That's one of the scheme. Even they said you can directly connect with your grid, where they will be able to discount the percentage back. So these are the actually the policies are good. There are a lot of policies they started. The central government and state government formed for the retail usage of solar. But I didn't see it successful execution. The main reason is that still the solar panel costs are a bit high, and installation maintenance of them connected to the grid also adds more amount. So your break even for that will take lot of years, and you need to maintain that. One of the things which you can see to improve the usage of it is by reducing the solar panel cost. That is a very key investment where it can, if it is subsidized, that will help that many members to go and start using it, Ranjani.
Sir,
Yes.
and how fair if your business profit will be in your solar panel sales, sir?
Solar panel sales. So okay, maybe the questions are coming because you may be interested in. Are you interested in setting up a solar panel industry, or what's your thought process, Ranjani here?
Just I'm asking, sir, to make sure.
Okay. Yeah. So see, maybe the solar panel profit. You mean there are two things, right? One is selling the solar panel. There is lot of there's really a need for our in country, right? Manufacturing solar panel.
Yes, sir.
Currently, importing it from external world is much cheaper than manufacturing. So definitely there is a good scope for manufacturing in country, and there is a lot of subsidies also announced by the central and state governments, which definitely someone can look at it and implementing it. Even the raw products which are required for us also not heavy, so that will really help you to do it.
Sir, there is one question in the chat box. How to
Okay, sir,
become
thank
an
you, sir.
entrepreneur? How to become an entrepreneur in the cyber security field? That is what posted, sir.
Okay, that's really very nice question, Satish. Cyber security, it is getting a lot of attention nowadays. The main reason is that so far we were in in-house development centers, right? Where each country will have their own development centers, and they will have their own data centers. It will be maintained on-prem, right? Now we are moving on to cloud. So now everything is managed from the cloud. So there is a lot of opportunities to protect the cloud resources from hackers, right? So there's a lot of opportunities happening in the cyber security. So if your product which can help easily configure your IAM, right? Like access management, individual access managements, or protecting the firewalls, access to the cloud. That is one of the area where really you will be able to do well. So in cyber security and cloud can help you to do a lot of wonders.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, for answering our queries and for sharing your knowledge about characteristics. Does anyone have queries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
How to estimate the market demand for your product, sir?
How to estimate the market demand for the product? Yeah. So that's the reason there are in your lean startup, there are, especially there are two characteristics you will be doing. One is mainly your customer feedback, right? When you're creating the idea, you will be first doing the prototype, and you will try with your circle, friends, and users, right? That will give you a lot of feedback on the product demand, and you will be able to gauge the demand. That is one thing. Second one is that when you do competitor analysis, anyway, you are going to start something new, right? So there will be competitors very near to you. So you will be able to judge their business model, and you will be able to understand the business, what they're doing. That will help you to uh, give an accurate projection for your product.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Hi.
Good evening, sir. I'm Harsha, and my question is: due to this pandemic, we can see the huge fall of textile industries. So, what is your suggestion to grow with some innovative ideas, sir?
Okay, textile industry. There is a double whelm to them, right? In textile industry, one thing is that most of the people are working from home. Literally, there are so many memes you are seeing, right? Nowadays, wearing a jean itself feels very heavy for me, right? Everybody is going in pajamas. So the people who are really buying, the need for textile has come down. Very basic need is what is going for. That is one thing. Second one is all your lockdowns things are not allowing people to move. All the shopping malls are closed. So those are the things which are really affecting the textile industry a lot. One thing we can do is that even in the pandemic, one market which is doing good is e-commerce. So most of our textile industry, maybe from source or from the distributors, they have to move towards electronic commerce or e-commerce, where digitally they should be able to connect to the customer and should be able to sell their product. That is the only way they should do brick and mortar what they're currently doing. In addition to that, they should start promoting their online brand as well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, another last two questions, which is posted in the chat box. One question is by Madesh, sir. The student Madesh is asking, what are the main certification required and skills required for this cyber security? That is the first question. The second question is by Sandhya K. What is the best way to know about the product features?
Best way, I think I'm seeing the details. The first thing is about the certification. As I mentioned, currently we are doing this cloud, right? So AWS is really doing good in the market. So there are a lot of security related to AWS certifications are available. You can start with that. And if you want to be a multi-cloud practitioner, you can focus on AWS, Azure, and Google. These are the three cloud vendors where you can focus on the security. That will give full view about that. What's the second one, Satish?
The question is, what is the best way to know about the product features other than survey?
Okay, product. Okay, is it about understanding the? I assuming that you're trying to understand the product features of you yourself, what you're building, right? So you're going to build a product, and you want to identify what are the features it can have. So that can be done primarily by doing a market study. When I say market study, you need to go and speak to the real users of the product. We tell them as a target audience, right? You should identify the target audience. Try to do a good number of research. I also give an example, right? There are the standard. They are doing some research. The lawn movers they are modified, right? Similar to that, you should do a real market research. And the second opportunity is that your competitor analysis. So this too will help you to get that details instead of a survey.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Any
you.
other questions from student side? Okay, we'll close it. Thanks a lot, sir, for having patiently listening the questions and answering the questions.
Thanks.
Beautiful way. Thank you very much, sir. We'll go for the next vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for answering our queries, for sharing your knowledge about characteristics of entrepreneurship, lean startup with aid of two interesting case studies. The case study of Infosys is really motivating for engineering students like us. Thank you, sir, for educating us the wonderful steps involved in entrepreneurship. Once again, thank you for your wonderful lecture. Now, for a dynamic speaker, as a token of appreciation, I request our principal, sir, to hand over the certificate of appreciation to our guest speaker.
So thank you very much. Thank you very much for the certificate. Much appreciated. Really, I enjoyed the session with you, all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It's my honor to tell sir's current contribution. Currently, he is leading the architecture team of digital payments in Wibmo. He is excellently taking care of conveying the monolithic application to microservice and taking them to cloud. His key contributions are part of re-architecture team where we revamped the comment-based product to MVC pattern, heading the custom implementation team across the region, leading the multi-country rollout for the Standard Bank South Africa, where Finacle Digital Channel Banking implemented for 13 countries, leading solution consultant team for mass customer in Europe region, heading the architecture team in Wipmo. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity, sir. Students, kindly fill the feedback form from which we posted in the chat box. Now I request everyone to switch on your camera for a photo. Thank you all. Now I request our respected head of the department, Ms. Steve Paulin, ma'am, to propose a vote of thanks.
Good evening, one and all. On behalf of Institution Innovation Council, JPR Engineering College, I thank God Almighty for today's event. I thank our dynamic director, ma'am, Dr. Regina JPR, esteemed principal, Dr. Nadrajan sir, and our beloved dean, Dr. Salisha A. Stanley, ma'am, for their continuous encouragement and support. I sincerely thank our guest speaker, Mr. K. Pushparaj sir, Director, Digital Payments, who patiently delivered the thoughts on entrepreneurship and gave ideas on lean startup. Thank you, sir. I thank HODs and faculties of all departments for their participation. It's my pleasure to thank the IIC President, Vice President, and conveners from all departments for their encouragement. My special thanks to Dr. Beulah ma'am and Dr. Satish sir for helping in organizing and live telecasting in YouTube channel. I thank the students who are patiently listening through the YouTube channel also. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Once again, I remind the students to fill the feedback form. Let's wind up this entrepreneurship bootcamp with National Anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you all. Have a blessed day.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.